Good morning and welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG review. I am DM Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, today's video I'm doing something. I'm breaking from my original scheduled programming of the day. I'm supposed to be doing a character class spotlight for Castles and Crusades. However, this issue seemed to have reared its ugly head again, and to cut right to the chase, this is partially a response to an exchange and a video that is on Eric Tankar's Tavern YouTube channel, and that was in response to a Facebook group posting by the admin of the Dungeons and Dragons, old school Dungeons and Dragons #2 Facebook group, and with all of the other things going on within the gaming hobbies in general, and that's why I've called this, gatekeeping, cancel culture, and boycotts in gaming, because there seems to be just a lot going on over these last couple of weeks surrounding gaming hobbies in general, and then boycotts, obviously, elsewhere, but now finding its way into gaming, and I have a suspicion that even though it's related right now to Call of Duty and boycotts around Call of Duty, and I'll go into a little bit more detail on that. Um, it's only a matter of time before it makes its way to tabletop as well. So let me start to put this in some kind of a context. All right. So on my channel, a little over 2 years ago, I have a video up, and I will link to that video at the end of this. I had a video up where I had an exchange on Twitter with an individual who I will describe as, your typical Twitter SJW um, advocate or activist, let's say, admitted that he and several others tried to or joined an OSR group, a community, I believe it was on Reddit, and they tried to effectively infiltrate it, change its culture, get the people that they disagreed with kicked out of it, and they were that this individual, he was vexed at his realization that number one, most people didn't care. Number two, there was no real head of the OSR, and so there wasn't just one individual or one small group of individuals or one publisher to leverage in order to get these changes done that they were looking to get done. Secondly, probably tertiary, third reason was that there wasn't even a discernible, in his view, a discernible definition of what the OSR was, and so still didn't have a means of attacking something because it was so nebulous that really couldn't get in there and control it. And the bottom line was, this was all about control. This was about cancel culture. This was about, we want to go into a thing that's not our thing, and we're going to try to tear it apart from within, and then we will move on once we've destroyed it to look for the new thing and to continue, so on and so forth. And so this is something that seems to be, pretty cyclic now. So it's every 3 to 5 or so months, the attack on the OSR comes out of those gaming adjacent individuals. And I call them gaming adjacent because they're not focused about gaming. They're just focused about pushing their own political agendas and infiltrating and destroying and then moving on. So they really don't give a rat's ass about the actual games that are looking to be played. So this is ongoing. All right. It is nonstop. It is one directional. So I reject any idea, oh, this happens on both sides, of the culture war. No, it doesn't. All right. It is all one directional. And, although you might have some gatekeeping on both sides, even that is primarily one directional as well. It is much more extreme on the left than it is on the right or the conservative or whatever you want to call the right. And the the moving of the needle between right and left, and what is moderate. Moderate is the shrinking group, and it is being pushed further and further to the right by those on the left in conception. It's like I've seen, and you've probably seen, very recent memes and such, going back 6 months to 8 months ago, where Elon Musk was basically saying, "I've been in this spot all the time, and now all of a sudden I'm depicted as being over here when I haven't moved." All right. He says, "I'm still here. It's that these have moved so far over here that it looks like I'm over here." And that's basically the argument. And that shows you that there can be no fence sitting. They reject fence sitting. They reject, and when I say they, again, those on the left reject the idea of saying, I only care about gaming. Some of the most severe attacks have been at companies, let's say like Trollord Games, basically said, no, we care about creating good game products. And, we are apolitical. And they got severely attacked for that. They were called bigoted. They were told, there was a push to cancel them. And all they basically said was to one of their own employees, we're not talking about politics. We're only talking about good gaming and good products. And that was attacked. So when you have that kind of an extreme form of cancel culture where they won't accept anyone that is even moderate in their views, that tells you that these individuals and these ideas cannot be compromised with. So let me go to the actual exchange, and I'm only going to focus on what I said in response to some of Eric's statements and where he stands. And also, let me put it out there. I respect Eric Tankar. I've met him in person. I've had telephone calls with this individual. He's he is someone that is, quite honestly, a centrist. He might lean one way or the other on different aspects of social issues and such. And but he's like one of those guys that is like he's trying to stay in that center. And like I said, he may lean left or right on various issues and everything, just like a normal, adult way of approaching social issues or politics or whatever. And but I think that for a lack of better word, I think that he's bordering on naivete when it comes to this particular issue. And I think that he's still under the belief that there's we'll be allowed to create our own space and be left alone in that space. That does not exist in the SJW leftist point of view. That's not their intent. We created our own spaces, and they've made effort after effort to get into those spaces and change the culture there. All right, so let me get to the actual video. I'm not going to show the video, I'm just going to show the still and the comments. So, Eric's, let's deal with the title, right? So, lines are being drawn in the OSR culture war. Where can you find refuge from the conflict? My short answer to Eric was you can't, because the other side won't allow it. All right, and I don't mind saying that I am definitely on the traditional conservative side. I know that I am less of a moderate than you are, and I lean harder to the right than probably many. All right, I don't think I'm extreme right, but I'm certainly lean more to the right than many, including many that are in my own gaming group. But they probably don't realize that, or we don't make it an issue because it's not an issue in my gaming group. All right, so let's take a look at. So he is responding. So he created this video in response, and as you can see, I liked his video. There are some elements of it that I agree with, but there's others that I'm going to poke at. So, hey, community members, this is from Dane Cole of Old School Dungeons and Dragons #2. He had to create a whole new group because the previous Old School Dungeons and Dragons was infiltrated by a bunch of these individuals, and he just created a new space. That way he could shut down the old one and become much more discerning about who he lets join. So, let's go right to this. Hey, community members, just dropping a quick update about a recent change in our membership policy. Unfortunately, we won't be able to accept requests from folks whose profile pics or usernames prominently feature rainbow colors. We got to follow Facebook's rules and keep our businesses and groups safe from potential threats, you know. And Eric rightly said, where is this Facebook policy that actually says that? And it really doesn't, but this is just the impression that Dane Cole has. We're all about diversity and respecting everyone's expression, but this policy helps us create a secure space for our members. We got to steer clear of any associations that could put folks with businesses or Facebook groups at risk. All right, now this is a direct pointing out of issues that he's had in the past where people have joined his Facebook group, either screenshotted, snipped, shared, whatever, attacked other members in the group or himself, and then applied, aspects of cancel culture on those individuals. And so, again, he's pointing out that this is clearly something that has happened in the past. This includes support or promotion of flags that suppress free speech. All right. And I'm not quite sure which flags he's talking about that are specifically against that. I'm sure if there was a free speech and they slashed through it, then you would know. But I'm not sure which flags he's actually speaking to there. We get that this might bum some people out, but trust us, it's not about excluding anyone or being mean. Our goal is to keep the place safe and focused so our shared love for Dungeons and Dragons can flourish. Got any questions or concerns about this update? Just hit us up directly. We appreciate your understanding and continued support as we strive to maintain a positive and secure community. Remember, when you support something, you're also making a choice not to support something else. Otherwise, what's the point? All right. So basically, what he's saying is that we want to support the integrity of what this website or this Facebook group is designed to do, and that is to talk about old school Dungeons and Dragons and just old school Dungeons and Dragons, not about bringing any kind of a political agenda to your posting, or have you spying on, as Erica mentions, what's going on in there for the purpose of retaliating against views that you don't agree with. So let me get to my first response here. So I'm specifically looking at the question of lines are being drawn in the OSR culture war, and where can you find refuge from this conflict? My answer, first one, was the only viable answer is to practice a certain level of gatekeeping. Look at how individuals or publishers say, we only care about gaming, or no politics, just gaming, or all are welcome at the table. These stances get attacked just as much, if not more, than if that same person or publisher just said, you are not welcome here. And that's an absolute truth. I've seen it over and over again. Those in the middle get attacked just as much as if they actually came out and just said, no, you are not welcome here and your ideas are not welcome here. So you might as well just say, you're not welcome here, all right, which is what Dane Cole is saying. In a recent article, all right, and I brought up this article and I read through it a second time. I won't be able to multi link it here because uh, YouTube has a thing when you put external links, they tend to, sometimes remove them or demonetize or whatever. So, but in a recent article, and I believe I also saw a video, a number of HR executives from several large companies revealed that resumes with preferred pronouns are discarded immediately. They universally, and this was a more of a focus on non-binary pronouns, and the article was following a study that was made where they found that 8% more of those resumes with non-binary pronouns of they and them were rejected more so than any other kind of resume. Now, they didn't quite do a true scientific study here. Believe the sample size was only like 185. Um, I don't know how many that was of the 8%, or if that was the 8% and what the sample size was. But the author of the article was seemed to be kind of distressed by this, and I'll get further into that. They universally assumed that the individual would not work well with others, bringing all kinds of unnecessary drama to the workplace. It was an eye opener and quite disturbing for the author of the article because it was the first time that he or she encountered pushback on the LGBTQAI plus blah 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 agenda at the corporate level, at least. All right, so they finally like saw that certain of these pronouns are going to be outright rejected by corporate, which they always feel that these corporations are supposed to support their agenda, and they're seeing evidence now that that's not the case. All right, what the corporate says in their marketing department is going to be very different than what they're actually practicing at the HR level or at their executive level. And bottom line is that if you're going to hire somebody that you feel is not going to play well with others, basically you're not going to hire that person. I mean, that's just a smart move. Previously, I have said, now this is me speaking. Previously, I have said that if anyone came to my table with a consent form, I would reject that person immediately because to me, a consent form for role playing is basically coming to my table and telling me how I'm going to run my table, and I will reject that person outright. Nope, thank you very much. Go find the game table that is going to suit you best. This is not the place for it. I'm including the preferred pronoun individuals now as well. All right, so if someone comes to the table, I've been playing with the same group of 9 individuals, all right, for over 2 years. I mean, some of them for over 2 years. And I don't think I can think of more than 5 times in all of that 2 years with that many players at my table ever using pronouns to begin with. I refer to them by their name or their character's name. And very, very rarely have I said, he, she, um, in any of our conversations at the table. It is always, um, Leah, what are you going to do with your character? Or what is Sparrow doing at this point? I'll turn to Mirador, who is his character's name is Mirador as well. What is your character doing? What is Mirador doing? Um, so I don't refer to um, don't refer to pronouns uh, that often, and I honestly can't think of more than those 5 instances. Maybe 5 instances, probably less. I think it's more not endearing, but it's just more communal to actually refer to people by their names. There's nothing wrong with just using their names. I think the excessive pride flag waving is likewise in the same category as um, bringing unnecessary drama to the table. And I think that's where Dane Cole is coming from, right? It's like, you know, it's like an indicator that this individual is going to come to your table with an agenda. And I get on later into my next comment where I address that as well. And I'll get to there. I couldn't care less who you sleep with or what you identify as. I only care that the person is at the table to play the game I'm running and they can play well with others. And that's God's honest truth. That's all I care about. Is I care about, are you at my table looking to play the game that I'm running, and are you going to get along with everybody at the table? That's it. All right. That's open to everyone. All right. I don't care if you are, gay or straight, transgender, black, transgender, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, everyone, male, female, everyone is welcome at the table. All right. As long as you're there to play and get along with everybody. As soon as you start showing signs that you're not there to play, but you're there to push some kind of an agenda, that's where the problem comes in. All right. So I will finish by saying, in my opinion, we need more and better gatekeeping against toxic and disruptive persons. Make them feel unwelcome and outright turn them away if they come to your table, channel, or community with a non-gamer agenda. And that's what I call it. It is a non-gamer agenda when they come to the table. I'll switch here. So to me, that's the sign when they come to the table with a consent form. That's You're not here to play. You're here to change what we're doing at this table. All right. And I'm going to send you on your way. Go to the next table. Not welcome here. All right. If you're coming to my Facebook group or some other group, or, if I see these individuals coming in with, all of these kinds of political statements, I don't care what the political statement is. You know, I'm not going to let somebody come in with a far right political statement all over their banners as well. All right. We're here to play a game, and that's all I really care about. So if you're coming in here and you're going to spout off, well, I want to see this in my game, I want to see, these things that I myself might agree with politically outside of the game context, I'm not going to let it into my game, because now it's imposing upon maybe everybody else at the table as well. And so, not going to allow it. So let me get to that next section where I go on. Like I said, I'm not going to show anybody. Say it says that there were 3 replies to this. There were 14 likes, but I see that there were 3 replies to this. But I can only see 2 of those replies, and one of them is mine. So I'm like I said, not going to show anybody else's. Um, Only Eric's, because Eric is here, and Eric put up this thing. Uh, so here we go. Thinking about this a bit more, Eric, and considering your question, where can we find refuge from this conflict? My answer, in my humble opinion, is that you can't find refuge from it. You will get attacked simply for saying you won't choose a side. There is no compromise. And no, just leave us alone in our own space with the left. All right. They have admitted, as I related to earlier, they have admitted to trying to infiltrate the OSR in order to kick out those they disagreed with. They became incredibly frustrated when they realized the OSR is not a monolith with no head and no way to control. They attack publishers like Trollord Games, as I mentioned, for the company telling its own employee to focus on making good games and stay out of politics. They don't allow you or anyone else to have a refuge from their agenda. All right. And so I say Dane Cool is right. They have to be told you won't be welcomed here, and be proactive about it. If it walks like a duck and looks like a duck, don't wait for it to prove that it's a duck. Just block it from entry. All right. And that's unfortunately, that's where we have to get to, is we have to go to that point of saying, not hard pass on you even taking a seat here because of what I can already see as an issue. Is that going to catch some people unfairly? Sure, it may, but for the most part, it's going to be accurate. And in those few occasions that you know, um, someone who is perfectly fine is getting turned away because of just how they present um, politically or socially in your group, for the most part, in your gaming group. Um, there's 1,000 gaming groups that everyone can go to. There are thousands upon thousands of gaming tables that you can play at, and it's not like, oh my gosh, I've been rejected from this gaming table, it's the end of the world here. There's plenty of tables out there for you to go to. So touching now on the last part of it in boycotts. So we've already seen the effectiveness of the boycott against Bud Light. What is it, up to like $18 billion they've lost or something close to that? Then Target's lost 9 billion, and now Activision. All right, so getting back to gaming here, Activision is now going to or is facing a boycott of Call of Duty, and probably it will bleed into some of their others like Blizzard and Activision. I'm sure that there will be some that are dropping their World of Warcraft accounts if they have World of Warcraft accounts, um, and there might be even greater response to other elements between Activision and Blizzard as well. So my question is, how many billions are they going to lose? In relation to this, we're starting to see a pushback that we really needed to have much earlier on. It wouldn't have gotten so far out of hand here, and we're starting to see where it's the left just keeps on cycling this push. Like I said, every 5 to 6 or 7 months or so, they make another attempt at it, and they're losing. They're taking all the L's recently in these last couple of weeks to a month or so. They're taking massive L's along the way, and I think that they're getting more and more desperate, and they're trying to push harder and harder now, and and so I don't see meeting them in the middle ground here. There is no middle ground with them, and I don't see that that any moderation or moderate view or trying to say, well, we'll just create our own space and we'll be safe here. No, that's not going to work. All right. So gatekeeping, if it is focused and it is genuinely applied to those that you believe are going to be toxic to whatever your community is, then you should absolutely be using it. And don't hedge around it or anything. Come straight out and tell the person, you know, no, you can't sit on my table, and this is why. All right. You came to my table with a consent form. I see that as being something telling me and the rest of my table how we're to run our game. All right. And so, no, you're not welcome here. Or you're not welcome into this gaming community because of you have these various statements and everything in your bio. I mean, if I see a cab in there, all cops are bastards. You're not coming in. All right. It just denied, or any of the other political things. If I see something that is pro far right, all right, no, you're not coming in because you're going to bring that agenda into my space. And I don't want it here. I want to just play games. I just want to run a game session for my players. And, we're just here to play a game, have a good time, enjoy each other's company. All right. And then move on, think about the next game session coming up, and chit and chat along the way. And then when that next session comes up, we're going to sit down, and we're going to start playing again. All right. And that's it. I don't know the politics of any of my 9 players. I don't know the sexual orientation of any of my 9 players. And I don't need to know. I know their names, I know their characters, and I know that we all enjoy each other's company. And that's all that's needed. So, um, I hope you didn't mind this unexpected and unscheduled, video. Again, Eric, if you do see this video, which I will, certainly share it with you. It's not it's not an outright criticism. I respect you. I respect what you do for the community, and I just think that maybe you're being a little bit naive in thinking that that we can have a space separate from theirs, and they'll leave us alone. They won't, and they've shown it time and time again that they will not let us just play the game. All right. So with that, thanks for joining. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't care either way. They both help the algorithm, and But if you have comments, I certainly welcome those, positive or negative either. I am willing to debate you on any of these issues. All right. And obviously, comments of support. Really appreciate those as well. And remember to, like and subscribe and share this video out there. And, as always, I look forward to seeing you on the gaming screen sometime soon, or at my gaming table, as long as you are in either of those 2 instances looking to just play the game. All right. Otherwise, move on. I hope that you find the gaming table that best suits your needs. Have a great day. Take care.